And if you try them side by side on the Glacier, you'll notice a difference.
You can attach this to the vest, and now you automatically have an easy in and out for your poles, and you can access them quick. You don't have to bring a separate structure with you. A fair weather tent, I think it's really good. Would not recommend, though, in any kind of stormy weather.
And their whole methodology is that we want to keep this light, we want to keep it minimalistic, but we want to keep it like with only high quality stuff in there.
And that's really what the concept of being a backpacker and a minimalist is, having one piece of gear that has multiple uses.
So people that are listening on Spotify, this might be a good episode to watch the video for, which I will link to my YouTube channel in the show notes below. That's just if you want to actually see the products that we're talking about. Also, I'm going to link all of the products in the show notes and in the description for the YouTube video so you guys can pull them up. Let's get to the episode.
Welcome back to the Peanut Butter and Mountains podcast.
We have Josh on today. What we're going to be talking about is mountain guide gear picks that are worth the hype or deserve more hype. So what we're going to be essentially breaking down is really good gear that you probably should own, and gear that is hyped a lot, but you don't need to spend the money on it, at least in our opinion. So we're going to be going, I think what we should do, Josh, is maybe like do a little back and forth on it. Like you give one, I'll give one. Yes, I'm not a mountain guide, but I have experience in the backcountry.
Yeah,
so.
you use a lot of gear, man.
Yeah, I use a lot of gear. So, Josh, if you want to kick it off, or if you want to say something before, let me know. We're just shooting from the hip on this.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean,
can screen share. Yes, I can screen share.
Not screencast.
Yeah, but you can also do it, I think, down at the bottom. Start screen share next to the thing. So
I see. Okay. But on one condition, you're going to send me the podcast afterwards on a floppy disk so I can upload it, right?
Which actually, Josh, by the way, I saw this was really cool. So Josh just created his YouTube channel, and we've done some collaborative podcasts, and I saw that you added it to your playlist. Was there an actual button where you could hit collab or something? Mm-hmm. Was there like a collab button?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I created a not a channel, but a playlist, and I could hit collab with the playlist.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
And so I went back and I found all the podcasts, well, at least all the ones that I can remember. I think there's a couple more that you and I had done before, and I added them all to a playlist.
Dude, and honestly, I think that's probably going to be the best way going forward, because if someone adds a YouTube video and then someone adds the exact same video, that second video never performs as well as the first.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
That makes sense.
So we could probably just keep going with the collab with that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I think.
Off, man.
Well, I'm also gonna be posting, because you can see the other one. There's a crevasse rescue playlist that was all put up by the AMGA and Outdoor Research. But so I linked that stuff to there because, I'm gonna start putting content on there. But I'm not gonna. There's no point in me reinventing the wheel unless I think I can do it better. And so I'm going to use that page for my own videos, but also as a kind of like an aggregator to collect, or a funnel, just to put all the information in one place.
Josh, that's great. You know what else would be, I just thought of, is you could do reaction videos.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'll send you a guy that he reacts to David Goggins workouts and he's like a trainer, right? And so he's like, oh, well, he's not doing that. But he's funny about it too.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining. And so instead of reinventing the wheel, you could critique these people, and it would possibly give you exposure to both, their audience.
Is that
exactly? So it'd be like Mountain Guide reacts to or something. I think it would be cool. Anyway.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think when we first started talking about this, I thought it was important to talk about gear that, I would advocate for, even if I'm not being sponsored by it. So that's what I've listed today is gear that I would use and I would recommend, whether sponsored by the company or not, because I think a lot of guide gear recommendations come because they're sponsored by those guides.
Yeah, good call. And same with me. If I don't think any of the ones that were on the list I've done any sponsorships with. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
All right.
So cool.
Right on. Well, yeah, while I'm talking about it, if you want to go to our Terex's website and go to the Arios, that's kind of the first thing that I want to talk about. That's my favorite piece of gear currently. And that pack I think is super versatile. So, I use it for everything. I use it for mountain biking. I use it for hiking. I use it for trail running. I use it for travel. If I were to go, internationally or somewhere, I only could bring one pack. I would bring that one. Go to the
What liter
18.
size?
It would go to the 18. So it's designed to be a fast packing pack.
Oh, okay, cool. Sick. A straight off trail. No longer exists or the product's not. Okay, let's check out ERI. Oh, is this the one you were
It's there.
ranting and raving about last year?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I love
Tell
that
me
thing.
about
It's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so like for one thing, it's sleek. There's not a lot of bells and whistles. And you see most race vests, they're very techy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to go like stroll down the streets of like Italy wearing a techie race vest.
Sure. Yeah.
So like this is something that kind of fits in that category, like the travel category, and also fits in the tech category because if you look at the front of it, it's got a race vest on the front of it.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Okay.
So yeah, it's got two zipper compartments on either side. So one on either side, and you can put phone in there or some power bars or whatever, and then you can also put your two soft flasks on the front. And so if you're going on a hike or a bike ride or whatever, you have food, water, your phone, and all that. But if you're strolling down the street when you're traveling, you can throw in your wallet and stuff and have that right at the front, so that can't possibly get stolen if it's right in front of you, right?
I like it.
So I like it being able to do both of those things. I use it for hiking. I've done pretty long runs, and I think I've done like a 15-mile run with a pretty significant amount of elevation gain in it as well. With that, it doesn't bounce around, which is I think pretty noteworthy considering it's almost a 20-liter pack. Those water bottle holders on the side that you can also put trekking poles in are amazing. It'll hold ice axe.
Ice axe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating at all. I think this is the best pack for this purpose that I've ever seen.
No kidding.
Yep. I love it.
So going light and fast.
Yeah, light and fast and doing anything. Like doesn't matter where I'm going. If I'm going to Europe to go backpacking or via ferrata or climbing or whatever, if I'm gonna go to Red Rocks, or it doesn't matter where I go. Like if I can only bring one pack, this is the pack I'm bringing.
No kidding. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
man.
so
I like that. How big are those?
I love it.
Pockets in the front for the snacks.
They're big enough to hold a full size iPhone. Okay. You can fit several power bars or goos or gels or whatever in there. Okay. And they'll fit your water too. So,
sick.
Yep.
Dude, good first one. Okay.
That's my favorite.
All right.
What do you got?
All right. I got this. The BRS stove. My man. The BRS stove. Okay, the first thing you notice is it's $15, right?
Right on.
And this has been my go-to main stove for summer backpacking since 2020, I believe. Yeah, since 2020. So I've done it. I've taken it on the John Muir Trail, Colorado Trail. You went to Highline, Wonderland, everything like that. Mm-hmm. Actually, I didn't take it on the Colorado Trail because I cold soaked, but I would have. Super light. It's super cheap. I've never had any issues with it. It does have a lower, it's going to take a longer time to reach a boiling temp than, say, a jet boil or something. But for me, dude, it's so tiny, dude. It's literally if I could unshare this, it's literally probably that big, unfolded. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's wild. So
it's like a pocket rocket.
Yeah, pretty much, man. But truly a pocket rocket. You know what I mean? It is truly fits in your pocket. So yeah, that would be mine. I always recommend a nice BRS stove to people, and it's super cheap.
Yeah, what do you like most about it? It's lightweight.
Yeah, pretty much just the lightweight, and then I combine it with those Tokes titanium little cups, which are nice because then if you ran out of fuel for whatever reason, you could put it over a fire if you wanted to boil water or something. So, yeah, I think it's a good little cook system.
Yeah, those totes cups are just like as light as you can possibly go. I think they're kind of inconvenient with how small they are, but if you're just really prioritizing weight and you want to have some way to warm something up, that's super light.
Yeah, and I think I have the 500 ml one, and honestly, I probably actually would go smaller again.
Yeah.
If I bought a new one, because I never fill up the whole cup with water unless I'm boiling water for 2 people to eat a meal or something. So, yeah.
Okay. Right on, dude. Well, the next one that I wanted to talk about was a carabiner, and that's as you can see in our list over there, the Edelrid Bulletproof carabiner.
Yeah, dude, you made me get one
Yeah.
of these, right? Oh, I bought one for Megan, and it's her main. Actually, I need to get her 2 because I think I need to get her one for putting for her pass, and then also one to wrap off of too. Because we'll switch them up or whatever. But maybe you could speak to which one it's better for.
Yeah, if you get one for her personal anchor system, I would get the D-shaped carabiner for it.
The D-shaped.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be the best option. And that'll be nice because it has that steel insert in the top of it. And so when you're clipping it to a bolt, the bolts tend to have this really sharp edge on them, and that cuts into the aluminum over time. It makes markings. And then if your rope runs over that gash, then you're going to potentially damage the sheath of the rope. So that would be a good carabiner for that purpose also.
So the one I have up right now, what would you use? This is
for belaying. I would use that for belaying.
Oh, you'd use this for belaying. What about wrapping?
Yeah, belaying and rappelling. Yep. Anytime the rope is going to be running over the carabiner significantly, right?
What about, and then you said the D shape, or which one's better
so
for the
that
pass?
little blue one, the 5th one over from the left.
Oh,
right there. That one.
Sick.
That would be perfect for your personal anchor, because you don't need the size of a bigger HMS carabiner.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, an HMS carabiner refers to I'm not going to tell you exactly what HMS means because it's like some German word that I forgot how to pronounce. Or a phrase rather, but it refers to that larger basket carabiner that has a really wide opening, and that's so it can accommodate friction hitches and belay devices. You don't want to put a belay device on one of those D-shaped carabiners because they just don't have any room to move around.
Okay.
So but the D-shape would be really good for your personal anchor system or setting up the anchor. So you could get 2 of those and use that for your top rope system. You set up your anchor at the top of the climb, and you can use 2 of those things. And that way you have that steel insert.
So you're telling me that my Black Diamond lockers aren't good enough?
No, I mean, it's not that they're not good enough. It's just this would be better for that because the reason why I wanted to bring this one up, the reason I like this carabiner, is because it's got the steel insert on the top. And so what the steel does is it's going to last way longer. I mean, 10 times as long as the aluminum. I still have the original ones I bought, and it was 6 years ago, and I'm using them for work and everything, and they're still work. So they last a lot longer, but also I don't know if you ever noticed your rope gets black over time, and so that's not dirt when it gets black. That's aluminum rubbing off from all your carabiners and getting all over the rope and that gets over your hands. Yeah.
Whoa.
So
I definitely thought it was dirt, bro.
No, it's not dirt. It's aluminum. So when you use this, it doesn't turn your rope black. Because it's steel. So you have the benefit of it lasting a lot longer and keeping your ropes clean. And then also, why have people not used steel carabiners before? Obviously, because it's really heavy. But those carabiners, since it's a small amount of steel in a very specific location, you still get the lightweight benefit of having an aluminum carabiner, but all the benefits of the steel as well. So,
dang, bro.
Yeah.
Well, one review here says, buy your forever thing. This carabiner is absolutely worth the price.
Oh, yeah.
Basically what you said. And like I said, I've used it, and I enjoy it. Huh.
Yeah. Yep. Those things rock. Love them.
Stuff. All right. We got All right. Let's go with. Oh, you're gonna do okay. Sunglasses, man. Sunglasses.
Yeah, you got a pair of sunnies you like?
Well, I think any. So these are the ones. I'll share my screen here in a second here, but these are the ones I've been rocking obviously for a while, and I'm not opposed to switch it up because I do like those Umbros or whatever ones that you get too. But I think just any kind of style of glasses that can wrap around your head,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it makes such a big difference. Especially, I have very light eyes, so I don't do well in very bright sun or anything,
Mm-hmm.
and just regular glasses, it'll just eke in on all sides. And so these are really nice because they wrap around your head. These are the Oakley Sutros, pretty popular. Smith Wildcats are very similar.
Yep.
But like any, that wrap around your head and then that's really block out the light. Obviously, you could get glacier goggles too. I
Mm-hmm.
do personally, I think glacier goggles look ugly as hell. Like the ones that make you look like a bug.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why people like them. But I think you talk about Umbros or something, right? Or they're kind of similar.
Yeah, Umbras aren't necessarily a glacier glass, but they are polarized, so that does help. And they do have the side shields now that you can add to them. Those are the thing I really like about the Umbras is that it's got the cord, and so when you're putting on like
Yeah.
a helmet and glasses and potentially a beanie, or you're putting a visor underneath your helmet or hat or whatever, all of that stuff just adds up, and it really just like pushes the arms of your sunglasses into your head, and if you're wearing them all day that really hurts. And so I like it for that purpose. I don't wear them all the time. I usually go with like a full-on glacier glass because it does make a difference when you get to like if you're comparing with glacier glasses are rated in categories, and a glacier glass would be like category 3 and category 4. And so like those pit vipers you just showed me, like that would be equivalent to like a category 3 lens, but it's not going to be as dark as a 4. And if you try them side by side on the glacier, you'll notice a difference.
Interesting.
It's really soothing. Like, your eyes feel like they can just like relax as soon as you
Interesting.
put on a category 4 lens.
Huh.
Yeah, so it does make a difference. It's not just about the side shield; it's also on the darkness of the lens.
Yeah, the tint. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's mine. Pretty short.
Yeah, and there's a cool lens out now. It's pretty new. Julbo makes it, and it will transition from a category 0, which is like basically clear, all the way to a 4 automatically. And so you can wear it, biking, on your approach, on the glacier, all day long, and it'll do that whole transition.
Dang,
So-
how much are those?
I mean, those are expensive glasses. They're probably $250. But you get what you pay for.
Yeah, especially. Well, just don't lose it.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't lose it or scratch them.
Yeah. All right.
My turn. Cool. The Patagonia Terrebonne short. Yeah, that one's cool. So, it's kind of a theme for me, but I like to have things that are versatile, especially when I'm like traveling, because you got to bring the kitchen sink, So you're not going to
good
bring
point.
multiple pairs of everything. And I started thinking about this product when I was I was going to Hawaii a lot. I was doing that like twice a year for a while. And when I'm in Hawaii, I'm going on a trail run. I'm going out to dinner or drinks or whatever. And I'm also in the water. So doing those 3 major activities a lot. And so if for running, it's got to be short. It's got to be quick drying because I don't want it binding. I don't want it to retain a lot of moisture all day. And then for swimming, it's again got to be quick drying. But then also, for going out for drinks, I'm not going to change my shorts every time I'm doing something. I just want to wear one pair the whole day. And so I tried a lot of different shorts, and this is the only one that I could find that would do absolutely everything. This is like a really thin, lightweight, soft shell fabric. Dries really fast. It's above the knee, doesn't get in the way. It's not baggy, so I can easily run in it. And it's pretty pretty minimalist and sleek. So
Wild. $80?
it's appropriate to go wherever.
80
Yeah, but
bucks?
it's just like a one pair thing.
Bro, just get these.
They've gone up a lot, dude. Everything has since 2020. I think those were like $40 4 years ago.
Dude, really? Yeah, that'd be a steal. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. That's a good point though. I like these 5-inch inseam, just Meyer shorts, $22. Amazon. But
Yeah,
you're
see,
right.
like that's
What?
the thing. Like I wouldn't a 5-inch inseam. You
I
know,
like
I'm not.
5-inch.
I mean, yeah, it feels great, but like you're sitting at dinner and they're like, you're like all the way up to your underwear underneath.
Yeah, for sure.
As soon as you sit down, like
Yeah.
those things are
Yeah,
short.
no, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
I just don't care, I guess.
yeah.
You just gotta wear.
It depends.
You gotta wear longer boxers.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. That's funny, man. Okay, cool. Okay, trekking poles. My favorite ones are these black dry. I talk about these all the time. Carbon. Okay. They are the. Maybe they're not here. Black Diamond Carbon Z poles. Now, I first saw these poles when the mediocre amateurs were using them. And one of the things that Danny from the mediocre amateurs said was these are like the samurai swords of the wilderness. And I totally agree, bro. I've had mine since 2021, never broke. They're super lightweight. I like that they're Z-pole design because I can just kind of how you were talking about with your pack before. Like I have a lot of packs where I can just, let's see, my one Black Diamond pack, you can just fold them up and then they got 2 trekking pole holes. So you can just go boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
I have another pack that you can do that with too. Oh, I bought actually this is going to be another one on my list, which would be the Solomon quiver.
Mm-hmm.
So to pair these two, I would totally do this. Get those and then get a Solomon quiver. And especially if you have like a Solomon running vest or something, you can attach this to the vest. And now you automatically have an easy in and out for your poles. And your poles are stored there. You can access them quick. If you're going to scramble, you can throw them away. If you're going downhill, you pull them right out. I think the system is great, man. It has worked for me super well. And I never do anything without trekking poles, really, honestly. If there's any amount of vert or if I'm doing any mountain, I always bring them. I love them.
Yeah, I use them a lot too. Saves a lot of energy on the way up, saves your knees on the way down.
Yeah.
You can use it as a splint if someone breaks a leg. You can help use it to make a shelter.
Which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
A trekking pole tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those are great. I don't think you're getting much better than that. I've got I've used the carbon ones a lot, which I have broken quite a few times.
Yeah.
But Black Diamond's warranty is so good, they've replaced it every time.
Ozzy has
really cost
broke
me
one of
money.
his before, and they replaced them. Now he's got like 5 poles or something like that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know it's not just me too. I know other friends that have busted them as well, and they've also been replaced just like that. Like no questions asked, super easy.
Well, good to know.
Yeah. See, next on the list is the Outdoor Research Astroman hoodie. I think that's my favorite piece of Outdoor Research gear. It's kind of a hybrid between a sun hoodie and a soft shell, so you get a little bit of wind resistance. But I really like that it's one of the only sun hoodies that's going to have a zipper, so you can do that quarter zip. So cool yourself off
I
with
like
that.
I like that. How thin is it?
It's sun hoodie thickness, just like what
Really?
you're wearing. Yep.
Dude, I really like that it's got the zip.
Yep. Love that too. Favorite. I think the Outdoor Research rep said it's like their number one or one of their main products.
That is interesting. So, is it a windbreaker type material, or but you're just saying it's like it looks like a windbreaker type material?
It's like a cross between a windbreaker and a sun hoodie. I think it'd be a little bit much for a hot day. But on the glacier, doing any mountaineering,
Totally.
it's a great base layer.
Man. Yeah, I like that, man. I really like that quarters. I have a hunting merino shirt that I wear as like when it's super hot weather, and it's a long sleeve, but it's merino wool. It's super breathable, and then it's got that quarter zip too. Love it. Love it.
Right
Sick.
on.
All right, let's see. I have a couple more on my list. Okay, trekking pole tent. I'll just say this. Trekking pole tents are awesome because it's a great use, obviously, of your trekking poles. You don't have to bring a separate structure with you in the backcountry when you're already hauling a bunch of stuff. You're already trying to keep track of a bunch of gear. You don't have to bring a separate structure with you. You're already – I mean, that's really what the concept of being a backpacker and a minimalist is having one piece of gear that has multiple uses. I love that aspect. And so with trekking poles and combining it with the trekking pole tent, you get that. The trekking pole tent that I currently have, and Josh, I'm going to be curious. I know you were talking about the one you want, or the one that you have, and I want to look that up right after I do this because I bet it's better than mine. Mine is the Gossamer Gear, the One tent. And I bought this because I was seeing all these people. Weirdly enough, I was seeing all these people that I followed on YouTube talking about it, and they hiked the AT out of all places with this because it's a single layer, it's a single wall tent, and it is, for me, it's been garbage in the rain. Garbage. Hasn't been that good. So, it looks like this. It's a single wall tent.
There's a leak?
It just like, right in here, these, like my sleeping pad footrest will always get wet because like this will pool water into here. Maybe I'm pitching it like a moron, but I've seen, I mean, I don't think it just like kind of sags. Were you talking about that? Like it just kind of sags, man. So the walls sag. It's just not, I don't know. It's not that good. I will say it's great when you're not by a lake and you're, and the winds blow, like there's kind of a breeze because it really cuts down on the condensation. It's great. As you can see here, they have a trekking pole right here, and then another one goes right here. So a fair weather tent, I think it's really good. Would not recommend though in any kind of stormy weather. But what one do you got, Josh?
Yeah, I think that's good advice for all single wall tents. Is they're all going to be fair weather tents. What is before we start comparing them? What's the weight on that one?
Oh, that was another point that I wanted to make too. The specs. Let's see. Average weight. Shelter weight is 17.7 ounces. So just like 2 grams or 2 ounces over a pound, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's super light.
Mine is. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
One point I want to make real quick before I lose it is, I was talking about this with Josh yesterday, is the fact that probably 3 out of 5 nights that I sleep in it, I get really bad condensation, maybe 4. And it almost negates the weight savings of the tent for me because I'm carrying around a condensation-ridden tent in my bag. And so I'll try to, instead of always having to, because then it becomes a pain in the butt because you got to, at every break, you're trying to air it out. Sometimes I'll just, honestly, I won't even put it in like a stuff sack, or I won't even put it in my backpack. I'll literally just put it on the top strap of my bag so the sun hits it and it's folded up, but like at least it gets some water out of there. But man, sometimes I'm thinking, what am I doing, dude? I don't know if I'm saving any weight here.
No, I mean, you're right about that. It's got to be a fair weather tent. I think if I'm going to go out and on a backpacking trip, I'm going to bring it to a double wall tent. One that's got the screen, one that's got the rainfly. But I think what might even be more important than that is making sure it's oversized, because that's the key. Is you just cannot touch the inside of that tent with anything.
Great point.
So a one-person tent with one person in it that's in inclement weather, that is a bad 3-point combo.
Dude, that's so true, bro. You're trying to. It's like you're trying to rob a bank and you're not trying to touch those lasers. In the movies.
Right.
That's literally what it feels like when you wake up and you're trying to get out of your tent, dude. You're like, dang it. It goes on your head. Your head's wet. Now your hat's wet. And you're like, You know,
It's like playing the floor is lava when we were
yeah,
kids.
dude, it truly is.
Don't touch the wall.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So what
Um,
one do you got then? You said it was you
yeah. So
liked
I
it,
mean,
right?
what's the downside? What's the major besides the condensation thing? Let's say we're taking this in good weather, which most of the time is good weather anyways, because we're not going to go out there if we can't see the view. We're going to get a view. Most of us are, at least. So assume we're using it in fair weather. What is like one of the major downsides of a trekking pole tent?
I don't think there. I mean, besides the condensation, I don't know if there is.
I think I've heard a lot of complaints about them standing up into wind, and people have a hard time setting them up because, like, how do you stake it out and all that stuff?
Yeah, I actually think that setting it up is, yeah, taking it down is super easy. Like it's way faster than when I had a
Just
double
push it
wall
over.
tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is kind of it does kind of suck if you're trying to say you set it down and then all of a sudden you discover your site isn't very level and you want to move the tent. Well, now you're going to have to restake everything,
Yeah,
pull the whole thing up instead of a single wall or a double with a frame. You just, boop, you could just move it. You can unstake it obviously, but
Totally.
one of those things. So
Yeah. Well, the tent I like a lot is the Black Diamond Distance. I've tried 3 trekking pole tents. I've tried the Big Agnes Scout, which I think is the lightest one you can get. I think it's 12 ounces for a single person. It's made out of Dyneema. It's ridiculous. I'd probably use that when I'm planning on not being in it because it's so light. And then this one is the other one I've used.
oh, cool! Look at that. It's on there on the outside. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, so setup is extremely easy with this.
It looks
Basically, you just
super
stake
easy,
out.
dude.
It is easy. You stake out all the 6 points, and then stick the trekking poles in there, and then snap the pole into the poles into the trekking poles, and
So
then it's got those 2 attachment points at the top. And so this one stands up very well in the wind. I've used this for mountaineering. It's just as sturdy as maybe not a 4-season, but definitely as sturdy as your typical 3-season.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Huh.
Does really well.
What's that weigh? I wonder.
I think that's 1 pound 7 ounces. So it's a little
Not too
bit
bad.
heavier than that Gossamer Gear one that you were talking
Yeah,
about.
but honestly, I mean, how is it doing the rain?
It's pretty well ventilated. It's got that big window you can see on the side of it. That's the other thing I like about it is that you enter it from the side instead of from the end. So it's a lot easier to get in and out of than most of these trekking pole tents. It's also not excessively small. It fits 2 people pretty comfortably, which is not common for a trekking pole tent.
I agree. Yeah, that Gossamer Gear, the one is kind of like a 1.5 tent. It's actually a pretty decently large tent. And I was coming from the Big Agnes something or other where you had to crawl in from the front, which sucked.
Yeah.
I hated it. This one, yeah, you can open from the side. And honestly, dude, when I have to take a whiz at night, I literally just like roll.
Yeah, roll over to the side. Yep.
Yeah, I don't even get up. I try to position myself on a little bit of a downhill to where, anyway. But sometimes it isn't a downhill, and it's okay too. It just rolls.
As long as it's not downhill in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I can't say that hasn't happened, but all right.
Next thing on the list is a Cascades first aid kit.
Cascades
Pull that
first
up.
aid kit. First air kit? No, first aid kit.
I think the company name is Cascade First Aid.
Okay, I think I got it here. Boom.
Cool.
Is this it?
Yep. Cascade First Aid Kit. So this company is small company. That's great that they're on REI. But they're based in the Seattle area. And their whole methodology is that we want to keep this light. We want to keep it minimalistic, but we want to keep it like with only high quality stuff in there. because it's not worth carrying this high quality stuff. You know, there's a lot of first aid kits out there that are kind of gimmicky.
Totally.
You could go to Dick's Sporting Goods, for instance. You could get something that's in like it's all packed into a cheap Nalgene bottle.
Totally.
And you got like a compass that's built into a whistle, and it costs like 6 cents. You know, just we don't need anything like that.
Totally.
So this is great because it's just got really high quality stuff built into it. It's built by actual like outdoorsy people who are also paramedics, so they know what to put into it, and it's just really solid gear. So I really like.
I love how they have a gel, so if you're bonking, that is thinking right there, man. That is thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're also ultra runners, so it's really just like it's focused on the bare minimum because there isn't a whole lot you can do when you're out in the wilderness, anyways. So there's not very many things in a first aid kit that you're going to be able to fix. So a lot of it is like foot care. I think this one specifically is for foot care, but they have bigger ones as well. Like REI has only one kit, but if you go to Cascade First Aid's website, they've got several larger ones as well.
Okay.
But
look, it even fixes a dog.
Yeah, it even fixes the.
Look at that. Look at that.
What do you carry in your first aid kit?
Oh, man, after our conversation, we had a 10 essentials conversation, and I upped it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But essentially, it's just Band-Aids, alcohol prep pads, Advil. Mm-hmm. I got stormproof matches, which are nice. And I had those Rolex glasses in there, but they kind of freaking disintegrated. But
really?
That's to be, yeah, they kind of not disintegrated, but they just got a bunch of cuts in them and things. But yeah, so I have that, and man, I can't really think about much else. Oh, like Leuco tape, that type of stuff, foot care. Yeah.
Yeah, the Roland's glasses, I put them in a film canister.
Oh, that's what I didn't do.
Yeah, so they don't get wrecked.
That's what I didn't do.
Because they come in that little cardboard wrapping, and it doesn't do a good job of protecting it. So I stick that in the film canister. And that way, if you have a broken pair of sunglasses, for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, there's like film thickness pair of sunglasses. That's just a spare pair in case somebody breaks a pair.
Dude.
But yeah, put it in a film
totally.
canister.
Yeah, I think that was a brilliant idea. I don't know. I must have found them on Amazon or something. But yeah, it's essentially what they would give you at the eye doctor if you got your eyes dilated type of thing. But you're right. I mean, it's totally. They might not fit your head that well, but you could totally just duct tape them to your face too.
Yeah, and you could also use the tape as like a side shield, so it totally works in a pinch.
Ooh, yeah.
And it doesn't get any lighter than that. That's as light as it gets.
Yeah.
The other thing is you could probably fit a tiny roll of duct tape inside the film canister with the glasses. Mm-hmm. Make it even better. A little kit.
Bomber.
Yeah.
Bomber.
But yeah, I put Benadryl in there as well because that's if there's any it can help with any allergic reactions. But if you talk to a paramedic, they'll tell you Benadryl is basically a placebo, so I don't know how well that works.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I've heard, anyways.
Maybe maybe one to substitute for that could be hydrocortisone, because when I was on the Colorado Trail, dude, I had the worst rash down both legs for the whole thing. And the only thing that kind of took it away or provided relief on the trail before I got in to see a doctor was hydrocortisone.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, as long as the reaction is topical.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to carry like an EpiPen or something like that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Is it's not really something you have to carry in your first aid kit, because if somebody has a reaction severe enough to need an EpiPen, they will have the EpiPen.
Yeah.
And so that's usually something you kind of communicate in advance. At least that's what we do when we're taking clients out. But yeah, I'll throw some Benadryl in there, also some ibuprofen, some Advil. If someone's having a stroke, you give them an aspirin. And that's an important thing to have. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, and then, if someone breaks your leg, right, you're going to be splinting it with a trekking pole and a sleeping pad or something like that. If anybody has a severe bleeding, having maybe some blood clot would be good for the first aid kit.
Yes, actually, that's also what I carry too, is some powder type stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, the quick clot stuff. Yeah. Yep. But Other than that, there's not really much you can do in the backcountry. So like we basically covered everything that you can
Yeah, just
really
have a
treat.
Garmin InReach
Yeah, I mean,
with insurance.
yeah, exactly. I mean, don't get hurt to begin with.
Essentially.
That's kind of
Yeah,
the
pretty
first thing.
much.
But I don't think that basically what I'm trying to say is I don't think you get a whole lot of value over bringing a massive first aid kit.
Okay, so that's a really good point to make because people will be watching this, and it's always the people that don't have as maybe much experience as you in the wilderness, and they're like, "Well, why don't I just bring everything?
Yeah.
I'm just going to bring everything." The problem is that the more you bring, the more it weighs you down, the more you get fatigued, the more chances there is for mistakes like that to happen. So you do really want to balance needs versus maybe nice to haves or something, and really do like an 80-20 analysis over it. And I think you're right. Like a first aid kit is a perfect example of that.
Totally, and it is the 80-20 rule. And because you can bring a massive first aid kit that weighs 10 pounds, but it's not going to increase what you can treat enough to justify the giant first aid kit. Because when you
Yeah.
open the thing up and you start analyzing it, it's mostly band-aids and gauze and antiseptic, little tablets, and just all that stuff. And those are only going to fix minor scrapes and bruises, and at best, some bigger cuts. And it's just not really going to help that much. Those are all things that you can tough it out until you get back. It's not really
Yeah,
going to
great
change
point.
the equation, right?
Pop up ibuprofen, get some vitamin I.
Yeah, but like, there's a few life-saving measures, right? If you can stop some severe bleeding, which is unlikely to happen in the wilderness anyway, so it's possible. But if you can do that, that's a life-saving measure. And then splinting a limb, probably not
Yeah.
a life-saving measure, but it could be it could make a big difference
To
if
help
you're able to
mobilize
splint.
them to get out. Yeah,
Right.
I agree. Yeah, it's almost like I almost think that like the best bang for your buck would be a blood clotting something or other, right? Because band-aids and things like that, yeah, you can bring them, but they're not, like I said, it's just minor stuff that you're going to be treating with that. The next step, the next level is if you're bleeding out with something that's maybe not an artery, but I don't know what that would do with an artery.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what the blood clot thing is for. Like
Does
anything
it? Would
other.
it do that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's. I think that stuff came from the military and stopping like bullet wounds. That's where blood clot, that quick clot stuff came from.
Clutch to have. I think everybody should have. I think especially hunters need to have this stuff because, not so much with backpackers. Yes, I would still carry it, but really pay attention. Hunters, why? You have sharp things. You have
Yeah.
a knife.
You got a gun.
You have a gun. You have a broadhead on a bow. I actually remember watching. Actually, dude, this is kind of crazy. Back home where I lived in Oregon, McMinnville, this guy was hunting on the coast, and he was from the area, and he was on this bigger YouTube channel. He was hunting, and he fell on his broadhead, dude, in his leg. And they're like trying to get him out of there and like stop the bleeding, and like every time they would take pressure off of it because that's all they had, it would just, So they had to like carry him out. One person's but luckily there was other people there. If there wasn't a person to put on pressure and carry him, he's totally screwed.
Yeah.
But anyway, fun fact: he actually does jiu-jitsu at my gym back there.
Oh, really? Have you met him?
Yeah, I haven't. Dave Brinker. I think he does music and hunts a lot. But
All right. You got to be careful with that stuff too, though. The quick clot. I don't know what can happen. I don't remember. That was back when I had my last woofer. But it can have some negative impacts using quick clot. So you don't want to just default to it. It's best to use gauze or cut up a shirt and apply pressure to it if you can. Obviously, if someone's bleeding out, then I'd want them to use it.
yeah,
If it were me.
yeah.
But yeah, you gotta be careful with it. You can't just like default to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should maybe do one of those sometime with a paramedic.
We should.
Talk about what should be in here.
Yeah, what's realistic to have?
That'd be a good topic to cover. All right, cool. Rocky Talkies.
Oh, good one, man. I can't believe I didn't think of this one.
That's it's hyped, isn't it? Pretty hyped up product, I think.
Oh, it's very hyped, but I agree, man. I agree that they're worth the hype because I didn't want to buy into the hype, man. But when you go and you buy some BS
Like a
walkie-talkie
Motorola.
from Walmart and you take it out and you realize the limitations of it, and then your buddies have walkie-talkies and you're like, what am I doing, man? It's worth it. It's worth it.
Oh yeah, I think they're totally worth it. I mean, the biggest thing is the lithium batteries. You know, these things have been using either just alkaline AA batteries or using those the metal hydrate batteries. They were using those for a while, the Motorola ones, and it just loses its memory and they just die so fast. But these being some of the first radios that came out using lithium-ion batteries made such a huge difference, and they're great. This is one of those things where I like always tell myself like, I don't need them. I'll just yell at the belay, and then I regret not bringing them because it's windy or I'm really far away from my belayer.
How many times have you done that?
So
I've done
many
that.
times.
I know, man. Right? And you get, and I'm always like, you're doing, especially a multi-pitch. You get up there and you're like trying to yell to the person, and you're like, oh my, if I would have just brought, and then you have them.
Yep.
And then you just,
They're in the car. You know.
I'll tell you a story. Well, I'll tell the viewers a story. Was Josh and I were climbing that Grand Teton. The full
Yeah, you know what?
route.
Fortunately, we were smart enough to bring them on the Grand Teton.
Yeah, and then what happened?
Well, they died.
Okay, we're climbing 12 pitches, and they were great. First 2 pitches.
I don't think they were fully charged.
Well, no. No. And we get to the second pitch, and then it starts getting more full on, obviously, especially for Josh. And dude, we don't have any communication. Thankfully, somehow we had like 1 bar of service randomly, so we'd kind of text each other. But I always freaked out, Josh, because I always like, especially multi-pitch stuff, when you tell me off belay, and I'm always so scared that I'm gonna screw this up, obviously, and like take you off belay too early or something like that. And so like I really wanted the communication to be dialed, and our freaking Rocky Talkies die.
Yeah, but like that can be remedied if we plan ahead for it, because the reason why we had that situation is because we were using the radios and then they died like while it was climbing.
Wow.
But like if we had a plan, like talked about it at the belay, there should be this way of communicating, and it's like people that have been climbing for a long time kind of already have this set up, and it's what it basically it should amount to is like, as the belayer, when you run out of rope, you're on belay. Like that should be the rule. When you can't communicate, that's the rule always. When the rope is run out, you're on belay. And so
like
as
taut.
Yeah, when it's tight. And as the leader, like, I'm going to make sure that I do not use all of my rope until you're on belay, right? Because we're just like having that communication.
How many accidents do you think have happened like that, though? Miscommunications.
I haven't heard of anybody. I'm sure there have happened. I've been climbing at the crag before, and I heard one party yell off belay, and then a different party right next to me on the other side heard the off belay, and they took their belayer off belay. Now, fortunately, the climber was in a good place, and he recognized what happened and yelled down, so I didn't need to say anything. But yeah, that happens. And so if you're, there's different strategies for different situations, right? If you're climbing around a bunch of people, then you need to use, each other's names, so that you're not taking each other off belay when it's not time.
Dude.
But there's the radio thing is great, and I think we should kind of gear towards using radios more often than not. But it shouldn't be a crutch.
Yeah, you shouldn't rely on it.
Yeah, there should be methods. There should be good communication. Like for example, like good communication is, you get to the top as the climber, you get to the top of the belay, you get yourself secure, you yell off belay, and then you set up your belay device, you start pulling rope. And as soon as you're done pulling up rope, you immediately slap the rope into the belay device and you say on belay.
Yeah, totally.
The reason why is because if you don't do that, you could have all sorts of confusion. The rope starts moving and then maybe it stops. Or the rope goes until it's all the way ran out and then there's 5 minutes before the belayer hears anything. And so then they're left confused on what's going on. And so that's why you want to do everything. You go up there, you build your anchor, then you pull the rope up and you automatically slap it into the belay device.
Yeah.
And so if that's done, it's not going to be more than 10 seconds between the time when the rope runs out and you hear something.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you hear, whether you can distinguish it or not. If you always do it in that sequence, it's logical to know that, okay, they just said something that must be on belay because the rope just went up. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah,
Right.
that freaks me out on the Teton. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well,
it was
super
full
windy.
on
It
up
got
there.
really windy. It got really cold.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
I
I
was
got-
shivering. Yeah, just
I was
shivering.
a full rope length away and around the corner, and there's no way you could hear me.
Yeah. And to everybody listening, there's no way I was seeing him either. I mean,
No, you could
none of
see
these
him.
pitches I was seeing him after
Yeah.
the first 10 seconds of him climbing. Like,
Uh-huh.
he'd climb up and out. I can't see him. Okay. Is that all the hype?
That was the hype. Yeah.
All right. Camelbacks. Not worth the hype.
No, okay.
Next. I'm just kidding. Okay. They're not worth the hype
Why?
because you don't know how much water is in there. They regularly freeze, even if you have it in one of those special backpacks for the winter and a shoulder sleeve. They will still freeze. The line will, even if you're diligent about blowing it back in. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes I've even had it to where I was on a 14er, bro, and I had the bladder in my backpack, and I was like, "What the heck's going on?" Like, I opened up my backpack or something because I wasn't getting any water out of there, and the freaking hose was disconnected. So there's water, and it's winter.
Mm-hmm.
So my only water source is like all over my clothes in my backpack, spraying out. That's all happening. So, yeah, I think there's very specific use cases. If your backpack doesn't have a water bottle holder, I generally will use a Camelback, like if it's for hunting or something. I tend to like it, but for the most part, not a big fan. And then I also know you mentioned, if you want to bring up the fact that they're hard to clean as well. Don't put them in the freezer, by the way.
No,
do
don't.
that. Dude, Megan put one in the freezer and it just tasted like freezer burn. All the water, no matter how much you tried scrubbing it.
Weird. Interesting. I'll throw like a true lemon or something because it's pretty benign flavor, and that way you just get rid of any sort of like plastic taste to it or whatever is in there.
There you go.
And then it doesn't taint any future water because it's just lemon. That helps. But anyways, I agree. I don't think they're really worth the hype on them, except for maybe certain circumstances. Like I like it for mountain biking, for example. But
specific
only when I'm okay wearing a backpack. Like I'm in Florida now, and I'm not wearing a backpack in Florida because it's so humid.
Right.
So it only works in certain circumstances. But in lieu of that, like if you want to have access to the water, I like the soft flasks. So that's why I just love all of my backpacks to have those pockets up front to hold the soft flask.
I want to show you something with the soft flask that you can integrate.
Yeah.
Too.
Is it one of those pockets you can attach to any backpack?
It's a filter.
Oh yeah.
It's actually yeah. So it's a Solomon. So I totally agree with the soft flasks. I think they're a very good way to monitor water, easy water access. But the soft flask here, you simply just put it in line with a Solomon, and then as you can see here, you just would unscrew it, and then this little handle's great, so you can scoop the water through a stream or a lake or whatever, and then you just screw on the top, and then you can drink it in line with your water, and you don't have to sit there and bring a separate filter, number one. But also, you don't have to waste the time filtering, because a lot of times when you're rocking a soft flask, it means you're probably going light and fast.
Yep.
And time is of the essence. So
Yeah, you're right. That should have been on our list. Those things are awesome. I love them.
yeah,
That's a good ad. Worth the hype. What do you think of your Hyperlight backpack?
yeah.
Worth it or not?
Well, I got it for free, so I would say yes, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But so the one thing so I wore it on the Wonderland Trail this year, and it performed. I liked that it's a 40 liter, because the other backpack I have that I really like is a 60 liter, but it's a little too much pack for if you're trying to pack light. The Hyperlight was cool. I like the mesh outside of it. I like seeing what I have on the outside of my mesh, because I'll usually put food or chips or something in there. The one thing that I didn't like was the chest strap. Seemed I could never buckle it, because it would go about right here.
It's not movable. You can't drop it down.
Dude, it is. Until I posted a review of the Hyperlight, and I was like, "Yeah, man. The one thing I hate about this thing is I can't." And they're like, "You just unthread it and do it down below." And I'm like, "Oh,
damn, damn it."
So I kind of had to change that out of my review a little bit, but otherwise, man, like I think they're definitely ubiquitous with all through hikers. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a perfect hype product to talk about.
Yeah.
I have not purchased one, but I think they're just they're expensive. I don't know that they're worth the amount. If you look at some of the comparison, like you compare that with like an Arc'teryx, which is also an expensive brand, right? And this is like double a comparable pack at Arc'teryx, double the price, which is saying a lot, right? But it all comes down to weight, because it is like 50% to even up to 100%, depending on which packs you're comparing, lighter.
Yeah, I got the 40 liter Wind Rider here, and its specs is 29.9 ounces. Now, so it's 350.
350.
My other one that I really like is this one, and this is like if I'm doing winter camping or if I'm doing. Yeah, so it's only $50 more, honestly, than the Circuit, although the Circuit is about a 65 liter or something. And you can really customize this too, which is nice. But yeah.
Yeah, again, like we're comparing like these very niche thru hiker style backpacks compared to another niche thru hiker style backpack. I think what I'm most interested in is it worth the hype against like a mainstream brand that's going to be a lot less expensive. That's going to be, 40% off on Black Friday at REI.
Like a Gregory bag.
Like a Gregory or an Osprey. Like, how do they compare to that? Those are the things I think I'd be most interested in. Because you're probably looking at 3 times the price compared to something like that.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
100%.
But I think it all comes down to weight. Like, how much is it going to cost you per ounce of weight savings?
It's also a style thing, too, and a niche. You're right, because it is... If you can... Typically, if you're on a regular... Even if you're just on a regular trail or whatever, you see somebody with a Hyperlight, my first thought is, oh, they must be a thru hiker.
Yeah, right.
Type of thing.
Check out the Arrow. The Arrow 20-something.
What, Gregory?
Yeah, no, Hyperlight.
Arrow 28.
I think that's the one I like. Yeah, 28.
Mm-hmm. 350.
Show the front. Yeah, that's the only one they have that's got that built into it, which is rad.
So that's a fast packing pack. That's pretty sick, though.
And it's just over a pound.
Dude, I wish they would put this on a freaking regular backpack. Like a thru hiking pack.
Well, that's what that is. 28.
Well, I know. 28.
That's an overnighter.
Yeah, an overnighter, but not like I couldn't take that on the Wonderland where I didn't resupply. Maybe. Maybe if I was packing like some of these ultralight people on YouTube, but this
Some of these
man, I
really
love
long
that.
distance through hikers that are doing resupplies, like if you're doing the PCT, you could do a PCT in a 28 liter.
Probably because honestly, I thought that the 40 liter that I got was small. I was thinking, oh man, how am I going to do that? But I actually had quite a bit of room, especially if you put stuff on these external pockets.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, we're gonna go full circle then, because go back to the Arc'teryx one, Arios, because that one comes in a 35 and a 45, and it still has all those chest pockets.
Why is it's sold out, Josh?
It's not
Sold
sold
out.
out. I don't know what your search.
On everything, it's sold out, bruh.
Yeah. See, there's a 35, and they also have a 45.
I like that. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like this though.
What's that?
I don't like that. There's really no pocket here.
On the outside.
You know what I'm saying? Like if this was an
Yeah.
enclosed pocket, then you could actually put more stuff here. Right here, you could only put a coat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess some layers, but you know what I mean. So if they did that, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
But yeah.
if
Then they
had,
got
like a
they even got side pockets too here. Yeah.
huge side pockets. Yep.
Do they have? Oh, here's the one thing though. Do they have? Oh, I guess the snack pockets would technically be here.
But the bigger one, the 45 liter, actually does have the waist belt pockets as well.
Look at that. A used one for $190.
Nice.
It's not bad. Yeah, I just don't like this.
It hasn't loaded yet. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you like? Oh, yeah, you don't like the outside pocket. The
don't
lack
like
of an
that.
outside pocket.
Yeah. Because you could put so much more stuff here, man. And it wouldn't take that much more weight. You know, like the mesh, like I was saying with the hyperlight mesh is lightweight and you can see what's there because oftentimes I'll forget it'll be buried or something. But yeah. All right, what else?
Ultra. Worth it or not worth it?
Dude, you know what is my highest performing video by far?
It's hating on the Ultra shoes.
Is hating on Ultra. Dude, I get comments there. I uploaded this probably a year and a half ago. I still get comments to this day. And people are still watching it, like hundreds of views a day. So what leads me to believe is that more people are having issues with it. And they're like, what is going on?
Yeah, it doesn't. My experience with it was that they're comfortable, but the bottoms are not Vibram, and they last like regular use like a month. You know, so you're blowing through $120, $140 pair of shoes, just like a couple pairs a season, which I think is ridiculous.
You're paying
But
a
then-
buck a mile, baby.
Yeah, seriously, you're right, paying about a buck a mile. And the uppers don't last any longer. You know, they're just too they're too flimsy. So if I'm looking for that style shoe, I'm exclusively Topos.
Oh, nice. You've been rocking those too?
Yep.
Yeah. They have a zero drop. You know that?
Yeah. Same. I mean, it's all the same advantages of an Ultra. Just they have Vibram soles, and they got way more durable uppers.
Totally. Yeah. What model Ultras did you have issues on?
The Ultras, I think I had the Superior.
Yeah, I was having problems with the Temps all the time. And I remember before that, it was David. You did the crevasse rescue training with him.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the guys, and he kept blowing his out. And I was like, what are you doing, man? Because I wasn't blowing mine out.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden the next 2 years, yeah, it was a buck a mile. I mean, I literally got 150 miles out of my last pair of Ultras that I got before they blew out in the uppers or whatever, just like in the toe. 150 miles for 150 bucks. So
I know.
it was literally a buck a mile.
Oh, it's crazy. Well, the tread is not only not durable, but it's also really shallow. So it doesn't last very long. And it's very soft rubber. So it does not grip rock very well at all.
No.
I see people sliding around with these things all the time.
Dude. Yeah, because we were scrambling up in the Wasatch and I was wearing, and I was so sketched out. So sketched out. And my bottoms were literally, I hot glued the bottoms back to, back to the shoe because I wanted to keep using them. And then I tried warrantying them and they're like, that's just normal wear. I'm like, dude, this is 100 miles.
Yeah.
That's just normal wear. And that's what prompted the video. I was like,
Yeah, I think they're just going after the foot shaped running crowd, which is fine. I mean, that's a totally legitimate thing to try to fix, is shoes that aren't shaped like feet. But it's also got to last a reasonable length of time.
And Topos are just as foot shaped in my
Oh,
experience.
totally. Yeah, they're exactly the same shape. They got the zero drop option. They're not all zero drop. And they got vibram soles. And the uppers are way more durable. They actually have a rand around the outside. So more durable. They grip rock a hell of a lot better. I mean, I've done a lot of huge, super long scrambles in my Topos.
We should have added that to the hype list.
We should. Topos and the little cap filters for the soft plastics.
Okay, last thing would be socks. Josh, why don't you share your socks that you don't like?
Oh, no, I love the Injinjis. You must have got that mixed. The toe socks? I love those things.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or
I'm
not.
not being sarcastic, dude. I'm dead serious. They look nerdy. Don't ever take your shoes off at a party or on a hot date. If you're gonna go do Netflix and chill, dude, and you're wearing Injinjis, just leave your shoes on, dude. But they wick moisture way better than regular socks because it's wrapped around your toes. They're super comfortable. I've never gotten a single blister in a pair of Injinji socks. Those things are rad.
Perform well on the mountain, not in the bedroom.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's your tagline.
Okay. Well, I guess mine would be thin Darn Tough socks. I know Darn Toughs, they got the warranty, they got all this. This is also a video that I posted that kind of did well. So you just being negative, But my qualms with them is that the thin ones, which I like for summer because they're not hot, have recently I keep getting holes in them. Keep getting holes. And I'm like, what is going on? And then it's kind of a pain in the butt. I like their warranty, but I have to go spend $8 on postage to wait 3 weeks for them to approve the warranty and then ship me another one back.
So you can get a $15 pair of socks.
So I can get 20 because I already ended up spending $25 on them originally. So now I put another $8 in. So I got 2 pairs, but really it's only 1 pair because they ripped. So I don't know if I'm being a baby about it or not, but it's just been inconvenient to me because I'm thinking I'm going to be using these socks for all summer and then they get a hole in them and maybe I don't have another pair. And now I'm waiting, it's just annoying. So the thicker ones are good. I like the thicker ones.
Is that your go-to? Thicker, Darn Tough?
Well, if I'm snowboarding or if I'm hunting or anything like that. But summer I like the thinner quarter length. But yeah, a lot of people don't agree with me on that one, but
With the Darn Tough socks.
Yeah, because they're like, I've used them for 380 years and they haven't ever had a hole in them. And I'm like, well, they're definitely not. Yeah.
I would have thought you got a lot of pushback on the Ultras too, because you're gonna have a cult following with some people.
Dude, honestly, no.
No
Dude, you should look at that YouTube video. It's the comments on there are crazy. I mean, probably a 9-to-1 hating on Ultra.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easily.
Huh.
Easily, dude. Easily. And everybody's like, I'm switching shoes. This is crap.
Yeah. Huh.
I think it came at the right time. Yeah. And I was on the Ultra Red team. I was getting shoes discounted. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
They're garbage.
Huh.
Garbage. Anyway, all right. Where can they find you, Josh? Tell them about your new YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's set up. It's
Connect with
Mountain Josh Alpine Guide. It's abbreviated MTM.
I thought it was Outer Element Adventures or something.
That's the name, but the actual handle
Okay.
is Mountain Josh Alpine Guide.
I'll leave a link down below for that. Josh is also Mountain Josh on Instagram.
Yep.
And if you guys are looking for a guide, can't recommend Josh enough. People have hit me up asking for guide recommendations, and I've given him Josh's name more than once. So
Yeah, appreciate that.
yeah. So
Yeah, I'm launching that partially virtual mentorship program as well
yeah.
on there. So I'm going to start that in January. And so a lot of that content is going to be hosted there
Yeah.
as well.
So just think of Josh as your black belt sensei. That's kind of how I like to think about it. And Josh has gotten me up to probably a blue belt at least in terms of mountaineering. It goes white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. So I would say I'm like a blue belt. So
Yeah? Okay. I don't know jiu-jitsu, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to tell you.
So do that. And if you guys are on YouTube, subscribe to this, like it, and Spotify, leave a 5-star review. That'd be great. Catch you for the next one.